Hey guys, I'm back with book 23 of 365, and this is book 9 of the Black Dagger Brotherhood by J.R. Ward, which is Lover Unleashed. Let's get a little peek at the blue cover. It's the one for Unleashed. And this is Manny and Payne's story. And Payne sort of comes to us. You get little bits and pieces of her and you're not sure what's going on. But she first comes to us, sorry, my notes, and at the end of the last book. And before now we know that she's been fighting with Wrath on the other side, when she's on the other side, and that she hasn't been allowed to come to this world, even though all the rest of the Chosen have been allowed to. And that she really resents her mother for keeping her caged all these years. And she's the twin of Vicious in the Brotherhood, and I'm sure you know all about him. We're introduced to Manny, her mate, her counterpart. Way back when we meet Doc Jane for Doc Jane and Vicious's story, he was her boss. I think he was like chief of surgery or chief of staff, something like that, in the hospital that Doc Jane worked at. So we kind of get introduced to him there, and we kind of get a spoiler for this book, because when he's leaving, Vicious is leaving, he's gone back to kind of wipe Manny's memories, and he says he gets this thought brother, and it kind of worries him, and now we know why, because he has a twin sister, Payne, and she's gonna, be with Manny. That being said, I would not call this the Payne and Manny story. I would call this Vicious Extended. His book ended kind of unsatisfactory, at least for me. You find out what happens with Doc Jane, and then it's kind of bam, the end, and then they never really talk about how they deal with it, because that's a major thing. She died, she comes back as a ghost, and then they just continue living as if nothing had changed. And I think that that was very unsettling for a lot of readers, and I've read that a lot of people weren't happy with that. So I'm glad that he kind of got his story, even if it was at the expense of his twin. That being said, Manny is a surgeon, so he's called in to deal with an injury that Payne has at the hands of Wrath. It was an accident, but, he's the king. He can do whatever he wants. Doc Jane says she can't handle it. She needs Manny. He's like, yeah, be the human, get him involved, even though he previously thought that Doc Jane was dead, so kind of a shock. And then he thinks that she's working for the government because they have all this high-tech equipment, and they erased her, made her die, so I thought that was funny. More importantly in this book, like I said, was Vicious's story. We go more in depth with his dealing with his negligent mother, his abusive father, his upbringing, his issues, because back in his book, he was very like the dominant one, and then he needed Jane to dominate him sexually so that he could be together. I never really understood that. Here we're kind of seeing him give up control, and in the process it kind of, for me, settles the whole Butch thing. From some reviews I read, people weren't happy with that, like that it brought it more into question, but I think to me it kind of settled more like what Butch's role in his relationship with Vicious would be. So I did like that part. I definitely like that this kind of sums up Vicious a little more, and we get a lot more Jane, and it makes me like her so much more. Before now, she was just kind of a background character to me. She wasn't really that important. She wasn't that exciting to begin with, so I definitely like her now, and I hope she has more of a role. And I know that all of the females can't have a bigger role, because then these books would be astronomically long, but I definitely think she deserves a bigger role. Also in this book, there's a side story involving Butch's old partner, Jose De La Cruz, I think it is, yeah, and his new partner, Vec, and a serial killer. And so I don't know what that had to do with the story, other than De La Cruz thought that Butch was dead, and he kind of inadvertently hears his voice and realizes he's not dead, and then there's a serial killer, and I don't know how that is supposed to come together, and I know it doesn't in the next. There's only one more book after this one that's already out, and I know it doesn't connect in the next one for me, but I'm not sure if I'm missing something here. Also, here's some more. Quinn and Blaylock have this on again, off again thing. Like, Quinn's not gay, but Blaylock is. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to their story, and I recently heard that their story is what's going to be next. And that's exciting for me. I have no problem with that. I'd love to read that, and their story I think could be really interesting if done right. In this book, they say like next to nothing, if anything, to each other, but still their story continues, which I think is a really great, interesting way to write it. Like, their plot is furthered even though they never say anything to each other. I like that. Things I didn't like about this book. There were a lot of plot inconsistencies. Like, in the last book, Payne mentions that she thought her brother was dead, but in this book, she knows his history and she knows his past, and so I don't know how she could know his history and past but also know that he's dead. Also, Payne killed their father, which isn't a surprise, and Vicious thought he died in a lesser attack, but he's not surprised that she killed him. I don't know. Like, they're just a couple things. It's not the first time that's happened, but also, I don't like Layla. She is a chosen. She's been in a couple books before, vaguely, and she feeds a lot of the Brotherhood. They don't have females to feed from, and I just don't like her. I don't know why. She rubs me the wrong way. A lot of the chosen have left the other side to, explore what real life can be, and she was trained in the art of love, and she's upset because no one ever sleeps with her. Who frickin' who? I don't know. I don't really like her, and so I hope she kind of goes away, even though something like kind of weird happens with her and Quinn. So I hope she's not so big in the next one. I think that's it. That's all I have. Oh, we never hear anything in this story about murder, which was so big in the last story. It's just gone, and that becomes an issue with me. I hate when you bring something up and then just don't talk about it again. I'm like, what, did I miss something? Was I supposed to pick up something major from that? But also, we're introduced, and I don't know if I'm going to say it's Core. It's X-C-O-R. To me, that's Core. I like the X is silent. X-Core. He leads a group of vampire fighters who are kind of like the Brotherhood, and they kind of like the Brotherhood, not the Brotherhood. And they used to kill lessers and such in England. I wouldn't just say just England, but they say the old country, so. And they recently came here, and now they're like, we want to take over and be the Brotherhood, and they're killing like major amounts of lessers so that the Vampire Council will be like, why do we have the Brotherhood if these other guys are out kicking lesser ass every night and kicking a lot more of it? So I'm sure that story is going to come up. It's going to be a big thing. They can't just, hopefully she doesn't just stop. I mean, because it could be interesting. So hopefully she continues with that. So I actually, at this point in time, have not read the next book, even though it's out. So I'm going to read it and give you a detailed, not probably detailed, I don't want to give anything away. I'll give you a review within minutes of finishing it, so it'll be a little more new, and hopefully I like it. It's supposed to be torment and / someone else's story, and I hope it's good. So if you like this book, or you didn't like this book, or you have any books you want me to read and review, let me know in the comments below, and if not, hopefully I will see you guys real soon. Bye!